Hello, welcome to Evolution Orange. Today we're going to take a look at the Teradata Load Utility, sometimes referred to as TD Load or the Easy Loader. The Teradata Load Utility is actually an extension of the Teradata Parallel Transporter command line interface. It allows you to load data from a flat file or export data to a flat file, and also move data from one Teradata system to another. So I'm going to walk you through those three scenarios, leveraging the TD Load Utility and some job variable files. So right now I'm connected to a Linux server, and I have the 16.20 Teradata tools and utilities currently installed. So in my directory I have a couple of files here. One is names.txt, which just has a list of 50 names, first and last names in them. And then below that I have three different job variable files: file load.jv, source to target.jv, and then table export.jv. I'm going to leverage each one of those to do different features with TD load. Obviously the file underscore load will be used to load data into Teradata. Source to target will be used to migrate that data from a source system to a target system, and then table export will be used to export data from a table to a flat file. So I'll start off with the file load. Before doing that, I'm going to jump over to Teradata Studio and actually create a table to load that data into. So I already have my table prepped. I'm going to just create a table called names under the base database. Just has a first and last name column in it. I'm also going to create that on another Teradata system. Okay, so I've established my base.names table on my tddev1 Teradata system and also my tddev2 Teradata system. I'll jump back over to PuTTY now. I'm going to quickly jump into the names.txt file just so you can have an idea of what that looks like. Okay. Now I'll give you a glimpse of the file load.job variable. So this simple file is leveraged through the TD Load utility to identify certain characteristics of loading that data into Teradata. So you have your source file name, which is identified as names.txt. We have our source text delimiter, which is identified as a comma. We also specify a target username and password, which are being pulled from the TD wallet utility. And then we've identified a target TDP ID as tddev1, and a target table of names and a target working database as base. So now I'm going to launch TD load. I'm going to pass in the job variable file. I'm going to do a capital L for my log directory. I'm just going to point that to the working directory, and I am going to give this a name of my file load. So I launch that. TPT kicks in, or TD load utility kicks in. It identifies the appropriate operators to leverage, and it loads those 50 rows into the names table. So now I can jump back over to Teradata Studio and just take a quick peek at the base.names table, and now I can see I have 50 records loaded into that table. So if I check the tddev2 system, I do not have any data in that table. So what I'm going to do now is leverage the TD Load utility to migrate that data from one platform to the other. So I'll jump back over to PuTTY. I will show you what the job variable file looks for the source to target. It's similar, although there are some differences. We still have the source username, source password, which are being pulled from the TD wallet. We have a source TDP ID, which is TD-dev1. We have a source table as names and a source working database of base. So that's essentially where the data is being pulled from, and then we start identifying the target information. So we have the target username and target password, which are also being pulled from the TD wallet, and then the target TDP ID is TD-dev2, and then the target table name and the target working database of names and base. So we'll jump out of the job variable file and once again launch TD load. This time we're going to pass in the source to target job variable file. Once again, we'll do the capital L and our print working directory, and then we'll say my table transfer. We're going to launch this. TPT will kick off, and then it will migrate that data from one Teradata system to the other. So now we can see that the job has completed. I'm going to jump back into Studio and do that select again on TD-dev2, and now you see that that system has the 50 rows as well. So the last example that I wanted to show was just exporting data from one of these tables to a flat file. So I'm jumping back over to PuTTY. I am going to take a look at the table export job variable file. This time we have a source username being pulled from the wallet, a source user password being pulled from the wallet as well. We have our source target, our source TDP ID is TD-dev1, our source table name is names, and our source working database as base. Now we start identifying the file name, our target file name, that is identified as outfile.txt, and then our target text delimiter of a pipe, so you can specify your delimiter as well. So once I kick this off, it's going to pull the data from that TD-dev1 Teradata system, and it's going to extract data from the names table in the base database and put it in that outfile.txt with a pipe delimiter. We'll show you how that happens. So once again, we're going to run TD load. We'll pass in our job variable file, specify our log directory, and we'll call this one my table extract. Okay. TPT kicks in, exports the rows, completed successfully, and now if we check the directory, we see outfile.txt. We'll take a peek at that file, and you'll see the names separated by a pipe delimiter. There we go. I hope this small demo was helpful. The TD Load Utility is really helpful at times for obviously loading data, moving data from one Teradata system to another, and extracting data from Teradata. Thank you.